Well, hello there again, my bowfishing brethren. This is Tim Daniels from THS Sporting Center on May 15th, 2022. This is my actual third trip of the year, and only the second time videotaping. As I had mentioned earlier, it's been pretty tough getting out, finding good weather. And this is one of those rare times that it could actually make a daytime shoot happen where the water temperatures and sun were coming together to make it a good possibility that you're going to see fish here. And it ended up being a little bit more pre-spawn. The day after this, the fish really started blowing up. Well, a little bit about my boat. It is a 23-foot boat built by Weld Built. They were kind enough to build this thing about 3 feet longer than they usually do. I'm running a 90 horsepower Yamaha 4-stroke engine and using a Minn Kota Altera, I think it is, 112 pound thrust, 36 volt system. You know, when determining the height of the platform, I went by kneeling down and how far I could reach to grab an arrow that was slightly, with the tip of it slightly below the surface of the water, thus where a fish might be landing up. That's what I used for establishing the height, which is, I think, right around 30 inches. The deck itself is 8 feet by 8 feet, with a little tiny horseshoe in the center of it there to move in and out a barrel. That one. Another good sized one. Okay. Fatty. You know, it's not terribly uncommon at all when you have a sunny, clear day, and especially when you're facing the sun. The fish are skittish, and they were skittish today. There was a few of them that were sort of being nonchalant, but most of them were running, you know, quite honestly, before we even got to sort of start laying any real eyes on them. They were scooting out of the way. You know, on this day, we were seeing just nice fish all day. We were seeing these fish in like 3 feet of water when we started out, and this particular gar, I believe, was about 37 inches long. And for Michigan, that's a really good sized gar. Yeah, 35 inches. That's a good one. You know, I have, well, basically four go-to bows. My first one being my primary choice, the one I'm shooting right now, is a G-Rex set at 30 pounds and 27 inches. I have another G-Rex that's set at 25 pounds and 27 inches, which I only use like in the summertime or really shooting shallow water with lots of weed bottoms. I also have an Oneida Osprey, which I typically use for deeper water, and sometimes use that for daytime shooting. If I'm doing some daytime shooting and some deeper water, definitely I break out the Oneida because I have that set at like 42 pounds. You know, whether you're got 20-year-old knees or in advanced years knees, being comfortable is something nice to be out on the water. These mats don't cost much money at all. They're 3 foot by 3 foot anti-stress mats. Got them at Menards. They're not terribly heavy, and I can throw them anywhere I want. Easy to clean off, but they are definitely a back saver, as well as your knees. You know, the water level has dropped between 12 and say 16 inches, and that has really have changed of where some of these fish are located now, at least on the days that I've showed up. We found some fish out here more towards the deeper water in the bay or further out from shore in 3 to 4 feet of water, and that's where they were, and we were shooting a fair amount of fish that were pushing each other around. There was only one spot where the water was shallow, under basically 18 inches, that we were seeing fish chase each other. Over the years, you've seen my friend John shooting to my right. John is working on 79 years old now, and he really enjoys being out in the water and getting out there. And hell, I'll be lucky to be doing as well as he is at the age of 79. Nice dark one. You can hear that one hit him. One of my favorite combinations has been this G-Rex, again, set at 30 pounds, 27 inches of draw. I typically have like a 29-inch draw, but I keep it shorter because you don't need the additional power stroke. You are shooting shorter shots, and you sure in the hell don't need more energy. So that's why they keep those specs on the smaller side. And the MegaMouth reel, that is a great reel. It does offer you more line control. It offers more strength to horse a fish in, per se, or else clear yourself from snags. On the reel itself, I've replaced the line and using a braided Spectra. It's an 8 braid with 250-pound test. The diameter is still thin. It took me a while to find some of that, but it works out well. Just please keep in mind, your reel wasn't designed to have 250-pound line on it, so you can't just use it as an engine hoist. You can't really see it in this video, but in this one spot here, I seen over a dozen goldfish, and they were just hanging out in this phragmite grass that's been sort of cut off, and there was goldfish in there of the black variety, obviously the orange variety. I didn't see any white ones, and even some of those brownies. But really cool, bunch of them out there in this little knoll, and again, well offshore. Very unusual. That's a fat one. Look how tubby this one is, John. This one's going to explode with eggs. I think at this point in the day, it was getting to be about 1 or 2 o'clock, and just full sun, no clouds in the sky, and we seen some fish pushing themselves around out there, about 100, 200 yards offshore, and I figured, well, what the hell? I'll start heading out that way, and sure glad we did. This is where we ran into the most fish of the day. They were in groups of anywhere from, 3 to about 10 or so. And just sort of generally circling wide patterns, but we just found them all within an area of probably about 60 yards in diameter. And while they were there, nothing tremendously unusual or looked out of the ordinary to me. It was about 3 to 4 feet of water. I did not get the water temperature. I should do that more often, but nonetheless. always want to go around the motor. Another nice one. You know, as you're shooting a little bit deeper water, you do have to aim lower, and it's probably better to have a cleaner flying arrow so you have less energy being wasted in it trying to correct or deflecting off in the water and shooting all sorts of weird angles. So your tips should be straight, and you should have a good clean release, getting that arrow to fly nice and clean. This is also another advantage to thin line. Thin line has less drag. You end up getting more penetration, but it is more difficult to handle. You have to be more careful with it because it will cut your hands. You know one thing, whether it's a reel or line or a bow, does all things well. It just doesn't work that way. You're always giving up something for a particular type of situation or a particular type of shot. That's just the way it is. You know, again, as much as I really enjoy my G-Rex, it's a relatively low tip to tip. This creates more finger pinch. And even with a good, clean release at 27 inches, it wears on your fingers faster than, say, would be the Osprey set at the identical draw weight and draw length because it has less finger pinch. More finger pinch equals greater discomfort. Look at that gash I put in him.
Yeah, you would have lost him.
It doesn't look good. All right, hold on, fish. Try not to move. Beautiful fish out here today. You know, I've used the GoPro editing software and it was alright, but when I went ahead and spent the money to buy the Power Director 15, this stuff it has more features than I could ever possibly use. It could basically produce movies, but in multiple audio tracks, multiple video tracks, you can change everything that you want, from the cropping the image, the speed, playing it backwards, you name it, you could do it with this software. And it's not that expensive, under $100, I believe. That was my best mirror of the year so far. I don't remember weighing it. I think maybe it was right around 16, 18 pounds, something like that, but a really good looking mirror carp. You know, a friend of mine, Ralph, who goes out quite a bit, all over the country, bowfishing, was out here in Saginaw Bay Friday and Saturday, and he said Saturday the action was just it was just all over the place. I mean, they were definitely just killing it out there, just nonstop. You know what I find though is that. You know, I'm out of practice. You know, this is only being the third trip of the year. You know, I haven't, flung thousands of arrows yet. And I was starting to get tired out after shooting these. I ended up, there's more fish after even the video ran out here. We ended up shooting 2 barrels of fish. And I was pretty tired out after that. My legs were tired, fingers were tired. Couldn't picture shooting many more than that.
Oh, that was a good one.
When it comes to the barrels, which are brute trash cans, I believe they're a 42 gallon trash can. I like them because I can roll them around at the boat and adjust where the weight is. It's something I bought years ago and have been very happy with it.
When they tow the boat. That's a big one too. Look at that.
I know they're just carp, but sometimes there are some good-looking carp, and this is just one of those really good-looking carp. Great symmetry, nice fat, good color to it. And this is a good size one too. I think 32 or 33. Yeah, 32 inches. That might have been just over 20-some pounds there.
Average carp now. Some of those weeds. Check it out. Look at Frank, yeah? When the fish in front.
This spot over here was getting closer to about 2:30-ish, and if I remember correctly, anyways, 2:30, and it was the only area that we seen that had shallow water spawning going on. And again, not a whole lot of it, just a little bit. And the fish were chasing each other around in 18 inches of water or less. All the other spawning action, surface action that we seen was out in deeper water, well offshore.
There you go. Here.
Goldfish.
Get him.
I love to learn stuff, and I found the way to that I learn the most is by getting out there and doing it myself. But by all means, if you have a piece of knowledge to share, an experience that could add to the fulfillment of this sport, please send me a message. I wish all of you well. This is Tim Daniels from THS Sporting Center. Take care.
That's why I wanted to go today so bad, because it's